Here is my new TV. It's a TCL X11L. It has a 75-inch screen and Bang & Olufsen sound. It's quite a beauty, isn't it? A real beauty. This is TCL's new flagship for 2026. It's their very high-end model. In this video, we'll of course talk about the design, but we'll also talk about the SQD Mini LED technology. It's extremely high brightness. In fact, we had to lower it here because otherwise it wouldn't show up properly on camera. We'll also talk about the high-end sound, the interface of course, and all of this is for watching movies and series, but also for video gaming. This video is sponsored by TCL, so it's more of a product presentation than a review. That won't stop me from pointing out, in my opinion, the areas where this device could be improved, and I need to give you a bit of context. As you know, we rarely review TVs on this channel. The TV I had before, an OLED, is 7 years old and still works perfectly fine. But I thought it was a good opportunity with TCL to test out some new display technologies. What's happening in the world of TVs today in 2026? But I still wanted to reassure you, my old TV is starting a second life. It's gone to Yanis and it works perfectly. And that's the take your time spirit of the channel. You also know that I'm not a specialist in TV technologies. For that, we have a national treasure in France, that's Pepe Garcia. So this video is going to be more about user experience, even though we'll talk a little bit about tech. We're not going to dive too much into spec sheets. Anyway, to give you a little teaser, the promise of this TCL X11L is to have, with this new technology, both the deep blacks of OLED screens and the brightness of LCD screens. So, does it live up to the promise? Let's find out right now. But before talking about the design, I'd still like to talk a bit about the unboxing, because it's not every day that I unbox a 75-inch TV. And I want to warn you, 75 inches is big, and yet it's the smallest in the lineup. It comes in 75, 85, or 98-inch sizes. I really recommend that you have at least 2 people to set up a TV like this. Actually, I think I'm going to mount it on the wall. By the way, if anyone has a good recommendation for a wall mount, I'm interested. Other than that, the rest of the setup is super simple. It runs on Google TV and the settings are very easy to adjust, even if you don't know much about it. Even the advanced settings, I found them pretty intuitive. In short, you'll be able to enjoy an exceptional picture very quickly. But I'd like to draw your attention to one thing. This TCL X11L is absolutely not a TV with a matte coating. It does have a double anti-reflective treatment, but when it's turned off, you'll see reflections. And the fact that they didn't use a matte coating is intentional, because that's how you get the deepest black levels. On the other hand, TCL has the experience and they're relying on this SQD technology with its high brightness to compensate for those reflections. I don't know if you realize, but this TV pumps out 10,000 nits in peak brightness, of course. To be exact, the 10,000 nits are on the 2 largest sizes. On this size, we're already at 9 nits. Actually, that's a pretty monumental brightness. We're very close to a professional display. And this panel's brightness power will crush the reflections. Even if you're in a bright room, here I haven't closed the shutters, the image remains perfectly readable and punchy. For watching content like YouTube or sports, it's smooth as butter. But we'll talk more about this brightness because it's really the thing that impressed me the most about this TCL X11L. We're going to break down the main course a little bit, of course, the image. The promise of SQD Mini LED technology is to deliver home theater performance, even in a bright room, even in a room that's not suited for home theater. For that, TCL uses a technology they've refined generation after generation. That's the SQD Mini LED. But what does this SQD Mini LED actually mean? Well, I'm not a technician, but from what I understand before, the backlighting of screens was like a big spotlight in the middle, a big bulb in the center of your screen. Now it's 11,000 tiny lights that illuminate the entire surface. The result is that you get deep blacks without any halo effect around bright objects, and that's across the whole screen. And that's what I found pretty impressive with this TV. It's the consistency of the picture. Even if you move to the side, like really from the side, you don't lose the image at all. It stays very, very strong. In terms of brightness and in terms of colors. And speaking of colors, it's amazing. The panel covers 100% of the BT 2020 color space. I don't know exactly what I just said, but it's really good. I thought the colors were fantastic. I found that it gave very lively images. I don't like to say natural images because we could make a 2-hour video about what a natural color is, and actually there are plenty of modes to adjust the colors according to your preferences. But on the other hand, you'll be able to change it very easily and even automatically. For example, when I play video games, I like the colors to pop. For watching movies, I prefer the Dolby Picture mode. By the way, an upcoming update for this TV will make it compatible with the new Dolby standards. So my testing setup, weren't with a monitor for calibrating colors and all that. I watched some movies, and I especially watched Wicked 1 and 2, by the way, which I loved. And when it comes to colors in those movies, if you've seen them, there's a lot of color. And it's actually while watching those movies that I realized I had underestimated the combo of good lighting and good color. It hit me even more when I rewatched The Batman, the one with Pattinson, a movie that really plays a lot with chiaroscuro. And there precisely, this combo of subtle color and brightness looks incredibly good. There are all the HDR optimizations. I don't have all the references anymore, but we'll write them down for you. And actually, since I have more of a background in photography, I found that the images had a huge dynamic range. I saw plenty of details in the shadows, plenty of details in the highlights, and that's really nice. And let's talk about this brightness again, because compared to my old OLED TV, it's like night and day, no pun intended. And it's precisely with this brightness that TCL proves the superiority of SQD Mini LED compared to classic OLED. In fact, that's one of the well-known weaknesses of OLED. With brightness peaks, there are certain problems, like blooming, for example. And there's also a really interesting added benefit to this technology. It's the durability of this TV. In fact, the SQD will be much more durable than OLED. In particular, you won't have those burn-in problems anymore. When an image could burn a part of the screen if it was displayed for too long. As a result, you'll have fewer repair issues. You'll be able to keep your TVs much longer without any deterioration in the experience. And that's great news for your wallet and for the environment. So, as I was saying before, this TCL X11L can, in brightness peaks, display up to 10 minutes, 9 minutes for the 75-inch model. And that's an enormous amount of power. And that's where you understand the benefit of this brightness. It gives you an amazing picture, even in a bright room. And during my tests while watching series and movies, I immediately noticed this brightness. Normally I set my living room lights to about 20, and here with that same ambient light setting, the screen's brightness was really lighting up my whole living room. I rarely felt so much like I was in a movie theater, even though my place isn't optimized for home cinema at all. In short, this immersion, this power, this depth that it brings to the picture really blew me away. But that's not the only thing that impressed me. There's also the sound. We all know that a beautiful picture without great sound is absolutely useless. And TCL made a big move by partnering with Bang & Olufsen. We get 360-degree spatial sound, degrees which supports Dolby Atmos. The speakers are elegantly placed at the back of the device, but the real advantage is actually the way it handles the center channel. The voices will really come straight out of the screen, so the dialogues are super clear and the bass remains punchy. Actually, it's pretty impressive. You won't see the point of really adding a soundbar to this TV. Everything is built into these 2 little centimeters of thickness. So, I'm going to be transparent and honest with you. I have a really good sound system. I have a 7.1 system. I've installed speakers in the ceiling. There are some behind, etc. And it doesn't compare to this system here. But that's not the case for everyone. And it's still nice to have a TV that has great sound right from the start without adding anything extra. Let's talk a little about the design, the look and feel, as they say. TCL really did a masterful job. It's minimalist and very elegant. The borders are ultra thin. There's almost no black border between the picture and the aluminum frame, which is also very thin. So that really enhances immersion. You really have a 75-inch screen. The thickness of the panel is 2 centimeters. It's very thin, but it doesn't feel fragile either. There's also the aluminum frame to reinforce that. We have small touches of dark gold and textured grills. In short, it really gives a high-end industrial design impression. It's massive, I've already said that, but it's still very sleek and it will go with any type of decor. I really like the remote control that comes with it. I have to say, I used to have a remote control that was terrible. I never understood anything about it, but I even find the finish of this remote very pleasant. It feels sturdy in the hand, kind of metallic. You can see a bit of the selection system that's inspired by the Apple TV. And by the way, it's compatible with Apple TV, and I think that's great news because the fewer remotes I have, the happier I am. When it comes to managing your HDMI devices, that's also really well done. The connections are very clear. We get the best possible performance. We have IARC. We have the best possible HDMI transfers. Just make sure you have good cables though. And a quick note, I really like their cable management system, which is simple to use. It allows you to manage cables efficiently and quickly. Now, it's true that in French, when we talk about a television, we always use that old word téléviseur or télé. But today, what we mostly have in our living rooms are screens. We watch a huge variety of different types of content. We use these screens in different ways. And that's also where the TCL X11L exceeds our expectations, and it's ready for the changes coming in the next 10 years. We're going to talk about the interface and everything it can do. As I said at the beginning of the video, the OS of this TV is Google TV. All your TV settings will go through this interface. It's not just for managing your apps and content, but it doesn't stop there. The X11L features a very powerful processor and of course includes artificial intelligence. So for now, in France, we don't have direct access to Gemini on the TV yet, but I'm told in the notes that it won't be long before it arrives. But artificial intelligence, as we know, is a catch-all term. And it's not just about generative artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence in a TV like this is used to optimize the user experience. Today we have screens that understand your habits, your preferences, that can also optimize the image in real time, and of course will work with all kinds of devices. And by the way, pairing with HomeKit and Bluetooth works really well. I didn't have any problems at all. AirPlay, same thing, it works perfectly. Of course, we have a whole range of ultra-fast connections, Bluetooth, and the latest generation Wi-Fi. But where TCL really proves its expertise is in video games, because they really know gaming displays. In fact, you'll actually have a whole interface dedicated to video games. It's called the Game Bar. You'll be able to optimize everything, control everything. In terms of refresh rates, in 4K it goes up to 144 Hz, and at lower resolutions it goes up to 288 Hz. You have plenty of modes to detect the best settings for your games. And that's true even if your game has variable frame rates. So, when it comes to video game consoles, in my tests, all I have to show you is the Switch 2 because I don't have any other console. So, with the team, we played a bit of Mario Kart. I also played a bit of Zelda on my own and it looks really good. But I wanted to push it a bit further, so I brought my gaming laptop to test Crimson Desert, the game I'm playing a lot right now. And the visuals, wow, it's stunning. The best thing is to let you judge for yourself. That doesn't mean you're coming to my place to play, okay? It just means you watch the footage on YouTube. Of course, all these features come at a price. No surprise, we're talking about high-end here. And I'm not going to give you the price because for this type of product, it varies a lot. It depends on when you buy it and from whom you buy it. But I'll leave all the links in the description of this video so you can check the price at the time you're watching this video. It's an investment, and when we talk about investment, we have to talk about durability and repairability. These are very important factors to consider. I don't know about you, but for me, a TV like this, an investment like this, is a TV for the next 10 years. The durability index, which takes repair into account, is 8.1. We have a 2-year manufacturer's warranty. After that, it also depends on where you buy it. You can get extended warranties. And as I said, when talking about SQD technology, we have a picture that's going to be much more consistent over time, unlike what we used to have with OLED, where there was real image deterioration. I can't guarantee that because I can't jump ahead 10 years, but I think we'll have a picture that holds up really well for quite a long time. In short, this TCL X11L is the assurance of having optimum quality with an installation that's relatively minimal. It's the technological showcase of all of TCL's expertise. They've put in their very best. I was really very impressed by this brightness. I talk about it a lot. This combination of brightness and color gives an image I've never had in my living room before. Add to that Bang & Olufsen sound that perfects the experience and immersion. And I really like this minimalist design that doesn't ruin my decor. It's clearly a model for demanding users who want a really beautiful picture, for gamers who play a lot in their living room and want a big, beautiful image. Once again, we thank TCL for their trust. It was a real pleasure to present this TV to you. Of course, we'll put all the useful links in the description of this video so you can get more information. Feel free to check out other videos about this product. It's always good to have information from lots of different sources. Now, I have a small personal request. I'd like you to tell me the name of your favorite movie, the one you always play to see if your TV is well optimized. As a closing statement, Yanis can rest assured I won't get my old TV back. This one is excellent. And on that note, I'll see you very, very soon for another video.